Alright guys, well, as you can see here, I got a winch. This is the Badlands 12,000 pound winch. I've heard mixed reviews on this. I've heard a lot of people say that it's a pretty good winch, and I've heard other people say that it's total crap. But for a 12,000 pound winch, for the price that you can get these for, which is about $300 bucks, I figured I would give it a try. And I did read that it has a short duty cycle, so it's not like you can winch on it for forever and ever and it won't give up on you. I think that was the biggest complaint that I've actually heard, was that it burns out easy. But if you're trying to winch on it constantly and not pay attention to the duty cycle, then yeah, it'll probably burn out on you. But if you do pay attention and you try to do it, you try to use this effectively as it's described in the instructions or what have you, then it may not be too bad. So I guess you gotta, you know, use it how it's meant to be used and not abuse the crap out of it. So but yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on it, and for the price, 12,000 pounder should be more than enough for the Jeep. So I figured I'd give it a shot. And as you can tell, it's the first time I've opened it. Just got the plastic. There's your book. Hopefully it's not water damaged. It has been sitting for a while. I actually bought this, I think, over a year ago, and I haven't done anything with it. And over here, I've got the winch plate, the winch mount for it. Just go on the bumper. From what I understand, you have to mount the roller fair lead on the plate before you mount the winch. So that's something to pay attention to. It's like you got your bolts. What are these, 8.8s? You got your battery cable. It's black, so it would be the negative. I'm guessing this is the one that would go to your battery. You got your battery cable, bolts, your little hook thingy, and got your transformer pieces or your relay section, whatever that's. This mounts onto the battery, I believe, from what I understand, and then the cable mounts onto that. Let's see, you got your winch controller in, out. I don't know about, this actually feels kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of cheap, but we shall see. And as a bonus, I've got the wireless adapter that you can put on it, which I think ought to be cool. So I got that as well. Here's the strap that goes around the hook. Strap goes around the hook, like you can see here. You just thread that onto the hook, and you've got your little safety strap. Doohickey. This thing, I mean, I guess you get what you pay for. It doesn't feel very substantial, like it might come up missing easy. But that's what you got there. Some styrofoam pieces. Ooh-wee! Ain't it pretty? Pretty. Got a bunch of cabling. So you got your ground cable that gets grounded close by to the winch. You've got, this mounts onto the winch itself. This one mounts onto the winch. This must be the positive battery cable. It doesn't look very long. Is that gonna reach all the way to the battery? It doesn't look like it's very long. I don't know. And that mounts onto the winch, onto the red terminal, yellow terminal, and of course your black terminal. So there's your function box, or whatever you want to call it. function box, something box, control box, what have you. It plugs in there. Wow, there's awful small pinholes. So there's your control box. Oh, let's set that over there. Got your fair lead. I don't see any grease fittings, grease holes to fill it with grease on here. That might be a modification to do. That might be a modification you can do. You can add some grease fittings onto here somehow. But yeah. So that'll mount right there. And here you have the winch itself. Engaged, disengaged. This seems to move decently. Got your layers, 12,000. Greater, 5 greater than equal, right, layers. Alright. Got the steel cable on here. Oh, it's heavy. And that looks like that's it for the box. Unfortunately, I can't play music while I'm working, which is kind of a downer. I like playing music while I work. Oh, so there you go. There's the winch and all of its 12,000 pound glory. Nuts go in there to fasten it. Cables are loose, nice steel. Ground cable goes there. One of them looks pretty I kind of like this idea that they have here. It's like a spool that keeps the cable lined up right. It's like a spring-loaded lever that I guess it keeps the cable going in the proper thing. What does it say? Spool wire rope onto drum in this direction. So that goes in like so. Yep. You got your motor terminals. Yellow, black, and red. Pretty cool. Disengaged. Engaged. It seems alright. 12,000 pounds. Alright, so first, let's make sure these holes align up properly onto the plate. And then make sure the holes line up. End up having to drill. Hopefully not. So it looks like it'll go on this way. Let's clean off some of this dirt. So yeah, from what I understand, you have to mount the fair lead first, because once the winch is on, you don't have enough clearance in here to get the bolts through or on. So that will go in there. This will mount on right there, and they do. They match up perfectly. So there you go. These mount up good. So dirty. Been sitting around for a while collecting dirt. Where'd my rag go? What did I do with the rag just now? No. They're dusty. Oh, get another look at this. So that'll go on like so. That'll be on like that, roughly. Something like that. And then the fair lead will be there. Looks pretty good. Looking forward to this trash. Be your fair lead. A 12,000 pounder. Pretty cool. Yep. Disengaged. Engaged. Gonna fiddle with it for a little bit. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. Mess with the springs. Pretty strong. Oh, yeah, I like that idea. I don't think I've seen this on other winches. This bar that controls the wrap of the cable. I don't think I've seen that on other winches. 12,000 pounder. Yeah, buddy. This ought to be, as long as it continues to work like it should, this ought to be more than enough to get the Jeep out of any situation. Especially when you utilize the snatch block, you can double your pulling power. Yep. Pretty cool. Ooh, I am concerned about the length of these cables though. This thing, this part right here, this mounts on the top. This will mount on the top of it in such a way that the cable in the way right now. But yeah, that mounts on top, and these cables mount onto there. And then this one goes there. This one, I believe, mounts on the very bottom of it. Oh, you can see it. Yeah, this thin ground wire. This will mount on the very bottom of the winch. So, I am concerned about this cable, the battery cable, being able to reach all the way up to the battery. It doesn't look like it's very long. Remote cable, the bolts, this is the black ground cable, this will go to the battery. This one doesn't look much longer, but it's a nice good feeling cable though. So yeah. And this mounts to the battery, and then this cable mounts there, I think, onto the battery like so. And it's a concern, cable being long enough. So first things first, we'll look at the instructions and find out which of these bolts is meant for the fair lead. I just wish I could play music. Alright, so we got a couple skinny long ones. Oh wait, no, we got four skinny long ones, 2 short fat ones, regular nuts, any washers. We got 2 of these big washers. We got 2 big lock washers. We got 4 smaller lock washers and 4 smaller washers. So there you go. First, we have to be the fair lead, which I believe will have to go in that way. Yeah, from what I understand, you have to put the bolts, you have to put the head of the bolt in through the back of it that way. Because if you do it this way, if you do it that way, it interferes with the winch itself. So that's one thing I learned on another YouTube video. But there's only 2 washers, so I'm guessing no washer goes over here. Stick this on like so. Stick that on, stick that on. You got your fat washer, your lock washer, and your nut. And look at these nuts. Look at these nuts. You got your fat washer, lock washer, and your nut. Now I may, when I get this for the final assembly, throw some Loctite on these, just so that they won't go anywhere. So yeah. I kind of wish there was grease fittings on here. Keep them greased up. Boopity boopity boo. So there we go so far. What do we got here? Specs. Rated line pull 12,000 pounds. Application vehicle recovery trucks SUVs. 12 volt 6 horsepower series wound. Duty cycle rating 5%. So 45 seconds at the max rated load, 14 minutes and 15 seconds at the rest. So I guess you can do 14 minutes as long as you're not at the max rated load, 45 seconds. So that's almost a minute. A 12-foot 3-stage planetary, 265-to-1 sliding ring gear, auto load holding brake, replaceable spring-loaded safety latch, roller, nylon bushings, inline circuit breaker, minimum 650 cold cranking amp battery, 3.5 gauge minimum, mounting bolt pattern, 2-inch. So yeah, 12,000 pounds with a single layer, 16 feet. Line speeds. Operating precautions. Wire rope. Got some operating precautions going on here. Pulley anchoring. You can use your pulley. 45 degrees either side, 15 degrees up and down. Mounting the winch. So there's your wiring. Okay, so you got black, yellow, red. The big black one goes on the bottom to the battery. The long red one goes to that thingy and then to the battery. All the others hook up to the top. Doopity 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 boo. Always use a trace saver. The strap anchor point. Carpet load. Pendant connection. Double line rigging. Frogs in here. Pulley anchoring. Operating the winch. Duty cycle 45 seconds of winching. This winch with a 5% duty cycle at its maximum load must be allowed to rest for at least 14 minutes. 15 seconds after every 45 seconds of continuous operation. Failure to carefully observe the duty cycle limitations can easily overstress a winch, contributing to premature winch failure. That could be why people have problems with this, because they don't adhere to the 45-second rule. So, yeah. Continuous use for 45 seconds and let it rest for 15 minutes, which seems kind of a lot.